Well, as you can see behind me, our risky business Porsche 928 is no longer parked behind me. While we celebrated the ability to finally start the car on Tuesday, old fuel lines and bad gas continue to hamper our progress. Then earlier today, a leaking gas tank forced me to move it outside until a new part arrives next week. Stay tuned for the latest update. Somebody wise once said, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. So if you've been following along, we completed the timing belt and full service on the Porsche 928. Unfortunately, when we tried to start it, we ran into what appeared to be a fuel-starving issue. A modern internal combustion engine needs three things to run: air, fuel, and spark. So what we did first was we pulled plugs, and we did find that we were getting spark. We checked a spark plug on each bank of the V8, and both of them were getting spark. However, we noticed that both spark plugs were dry, very dry. So no fuel getting to the car. We started troubleshooting what was going on to starve the fuel. Now, if you recall, back in November, I actually siphoned out all the gas I could from the gas tank of the 928. Didn't know how old it was. It was at least 4 years old, and it was quite dirty, and I was taking advantage of a local chemical waste pickup day. So knowing that we didn't have any spark, I'm going to take you through how we troubleshooted to determine the car was not getting fuel. What you see here is the fuse and relay board on a typical 928. It's located behind a wood panel that we've supported, a hinged wood panel that we've supported with a screwdriver. You'll see it behind Nick's hand. And this is, these relays are notorious. If they fail, they can cause a variety of problems. So Nick is knowledgeable on the cars. And what he did was, if you notice it closely, while the car relies on a number of relays, it relies on very similar ones. So an old trick here is, his first thought was, let's make sure the relay's good. As it turns out, the fuel pump relay is the same one as it used on the horn relay. So it was just a matter of making sure, we knew just pressing the horn that the horn relay worked. So knowing that that's a good relay, we'll switch it out. So here's what you're going to see. 35 years, and you need a pair of needle nose to get the relay out. That's the horn relay in his hand. And he's actually putting it in where the fuel relay goes. All right, we tried that, and we confirmed it wasn't the relay. So we have a good fuel relay. Okay, now that we've determined the relay is good, we're going to focus our efforts back on the fuel pump. So in order to do that, we need to put in a jumper. This jumper, when we put it in properly, will keep the fuel pump on, and we can diagnose what's going on with it. All right, so this is a typical relay. This is a fuel or horn relay. And that jumper, it's very difficult to see, but these two pins here, one is labeled 30. I'm going to hold it back a little bit. One is labeled 30, the other one 87. So that jumper now will connect that 30 and 87 pin, and that will turn on the fuel pump. So I was underneath the car, and the bottom canister you see there is the fuel pump, and that's the old one. I confirmed that, so that pump is a DC motor. And by jumpering out those two pins, we confirmed that the motor was not running. Now, I even tried to, it seemed to be seized. It wasn't doing anything. And sure enough, because it's a DC motor, I actually reversed the polarity and tried to unstick it to see if it was seized and would free it up that way. That didn't work either. So what we ended up doing was we were stuck again last week. I had to order a new fuel pump, and I did rush it and got it here on Monday. So Tuesday, Now you're going to watch me go through the process. I'm putting these forceps on the gas tank to fuel pump hose. That's the hose that failed today. So you see me putting these forceps on to close off the gas. Does a great job. Nothing more than a band clip to hold on that line. And candidly, when we were doing this, there was not a problem with the hose. So now it's just a matter of unscrewing the bands to hold everything together. I decided to take the fuel filter off first to get access. So you see gas coming down. In hindsight, I should have wore rubber gloves. So be sure you do that. Or gas-resistant gloves, I should say. And have a tray underneath to pick it up, particularly if you're in the garage. Yeah. So it's a messy job, a smelly job, particularly this old gas just smelled foul. It's a much longer bolt than you expect. There we go. And now that gives me access to the polarity. Okay, I needed that old hose was on there. I twisted it a little bit. Really needed to persuade it, but once I got the clip off, now I could work on the screws for the positive and negative terminals to get the fuel pump off. That's a banjo fitting with a nut on it, so we just take that off. We did reuse that. No need not to replace that as everything was dry. That gives me access to the positive terminal, and see how well the forceps hold that. And you can already see on my hand, the gas just smelled like varnish, and it was brown and sticky. And you can kind of see it on the inlet. This was going to be a mess. And pulled the pump off. A wise engineer made the screws on the fuel pump 2 different sizes so you don't screw it up. And now I can take the forceps off, and you're about to see the bottom of the tank. The fluid that's in, the gas that's in it, and it's brown and smelly. So I had a tray there. You can't see it in the video, but at least you know there's what it looked like coming out of it, and just nasty. So that wasn't going to fire up anytime soon. I basically just let it run probably about 10 minutes to get the brown out, and there was some debate on whether I needed to drain the whole thing. In hindsight, I should have. Lesson learned. Anyway, here's the procedure. I'm putting the connectors back on, the wiring for the positive and negative terminals on the new fuel pump. I went with a Bosch unit because, candidly, the Porsche unit, the Bosch unit from FCR came on time. I was very happy with FCR, and it was $150 versus $400 from genuine Porsche, and was only available from Germany. Another situation where you're better off. But once that's in, it's just a straightforward process. Put the S hose on. That goes on the banjo nut. We were able to reuse the clip on what we thought was a good hose. And at that point it was, but a classic example of if you don't touch something, it won't break until you start messing with it. More on that later. So there we are, just putting the new fuel filter in. It's nice to have a second pair of hands. Nick held it while I spun the filter on. Put the connections back on the other side, and we tightened everything down. I wish you could smell how foul this gas smelled as we were doing this. So that's what the finished job should look like. There is a cover plate that's supposed to go over this system. I will be ordering that, as clearly that's underneath the, it's basically underneath the back bumper and right underneath the gas tank. So you need that plate to keep dirt away from this system, as well as, God forbid you get rear-ended, at least you got a chance to some modicum of safety. So that's everything in, and now we go ahead and try to start the car, see if we got fuel. Okay. Fire in the hole.
Oh, almost. I don't like that noise?
Unfortunately, that noise was a lack of oil. We quickly realized we had not replaced the oil. It was down a quart, so we quickly put a quart of oil in and then fired it up. So always remember, check all your fluids before you start a car after it's been sitting for a long time and all the maintenance work done.
Well, we're running.
Risky business lives. But she's sounding pretty good. So that was great, right? Real pleased. We went for a drive right here in my neighborhood to burn off the bad fuel. And we were just running into a number of problems with it stalling, as you can imagine. Just didn't get all of the old fuel out of it. And drove it around the neighborhood, and it died in front of my house. So I left it there. That was on Tuesday. Tried to start it on Wednesday. Still couldn't get anything. Then Nick was unavailable, so I hired, well, I have free towing service on my classic cars. And I called up, I made an appointment to have them help me push the car back in. So as Murphy's Law would predict, just before the tow truck arrived, the car started and would idle and everything was fine. So long story short, while the tow truck guy was here, I just had him watch me and help while I just idled the car into the garage. So my plan was based on what we talked about with Nick, because it just, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, so the good news was I had the car back here in the garage and I could work on it. So I thought maybe I would add more gas to the tank. So I already have 10 gallons of fresh gas now in the tank. I went and bought 5 more gallons, put that in, and with the idea that it would dilute any of the bad stuff to the remaining bad stuff to the point that I could get it to burn off and call it a day. I went to start the car after I got back with the fresh gas, put the fresh gas in, went to start the car. It started briefly, and then it shut down again. Has not started since. So you saw, Nick and I are convinced that I probably have to pull the strainer out of the top of the gas tank. My plan was to do that over this weekend, but I wanted to get an episode of what happened already this week. And I came out to the garage this morning, and I smelled gas. So when I came out and smelled the gas, I had to figure out what was going on. I went to the back of the car, and it was dripping from the bottom of the tank. So luckily it wasn't the fuel pump or the fuel filter we had just installed, but it was the hose. This is what's left of the connection to the gas tank. And then this is the part you saw earlier that goes into the fuel pump. This is completely rotted away. Unfortunately, and that's what was causing the leak. So not having that plate I showed you earlier, there was some gunk in there, and it clearly contributed to this rotting away, combined with age. So in Porsche's infinite wisdom, it's very hard to see in this, but this side of the hose is actually wider than this side. So I've gone ahead and I've ordered the special Porsche part from the dealership because suffice it to say, any of the suppliers, the earliest I could get this was the middle of next week. $20 hose. Once again, we're delayed moving any further. And now I've got to leave the car outside while you never leave a car that's got a fuel leak inside a building like this. It's just too dangerous. So that on top of the fact that I have 15 gallons of gas now basically wasted. Luckily I had, if you watch the video from November, I had a couple extra pails, those Home Depot pails, and I was siphoning gas out of the top of the tank to save as much as I could. I managed to save about 10 gallons. I'm going to throw that fresh gas into my Cayenne and burn that off. And then the other stuff, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. So that's the latest and greatest. The good news is you got to look at the positives, right? The positive is the car's running. It's runnable. It's a fuel issue. We will get through this and move on to the next issue. I took a big risk paying $4,000 for this car and then putting nearly $4,000 into it However, the car is currently at about a break-even position once I get it running reliably here, which should not take that much more than this hose. So thanks for watching our latest grind time video. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to press the like button. Please subscribe to get an alert each time we upload new content. If you haven't checked it out already, please visit our main website, guyswithrides.com. In addition to providing a dealer-free auction site at the lowest prices in the industry, 6 days a week we load our Craigslist classifieds based on our daily theme. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.